Karz talks, where opinions are facts, facts are opinions. The S650 Mustang. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. What on God's green earth is happening to the Mustang? No one knows, but scientists are baffled on how Ford has royally screwed the Mustang and potentially its future on this planet. So we're going to kick off this video with a video I made my own years ago when talks of the S650 Mustang were just starting. And it was titled 2024 Mustang is Hideous, Another Camaro in the Making. And this is a fun little skit I did. Check it out. Ah, what a beautiful day. Oh God, I hope the damage isn't that bad. Oh no, it's worse than I thought. Uh-oh. The implication there was the front end looks like the Mustang hit a Ford Edge. And even though this doesn't look like the S650 Mustang, it's not far off. Like, there was a few things they changed, but this was not far off from what it actually looks like. And when it came out, I was, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, why? It's growing on me. I don't mind the looks of the S650 now. Like, I've seen a few done right with like some nice wheels. Like, once you start making it your own, it actually looks pretty damn good, I gotta admit. But it doesn't change the fact that sales for the new S650 Mustang are terrible. So what is going on? Why aren't people buying the Mustang? Well, I guess we're going to have to find out. It sucks. It really does, because I am a Mustang guy. I've had 4 of them, 3 different generations. I love my Mustangs, but I can't lie to myself and say that something isn't going on here. Something really is going on. Someone has messed with the secret recipe, and you would have to be blinder than a deaf bat in a dark room to not see it. So moving on, you type in S650 Mustang into YouTube, and look, these are the videos you see. Flop, why 2024 Mustang is the worst Mustang ever, massive fail, S650 Mustang flopped. I told you Mustang would flop. Ford's biggest fail, on and on and on. People are not, like, the initial hype of it's done. Everyone's done. Like, they realize, you know what? This ain't it. This ain't it. And it's sad. So many bad videos. Oh my goodness. Let's listen to what this guy's got to say. Here's why the Ford Mustang 650 isn't selling at all.
It's as I said before, the S650 Mustang is not worth buying. Why? Because not only is it slower than the last generation of the S550 with 485 horsepower, dual throttle bodies, and then an entire different chassis that Ford designed for this thing, right? It's still slow. It's still very slow. And
it's still very slow. I don't think they're actually, I think there are instances where people have compared the two, and the S550 is pretty much the same, and in some instances, just slightly faster. Like mod for mod, stock for stock, the 650 is faster. Mod for mod, the S550 seems to be faster, seems to be the general consensus of what's going on here. It's the S650 still gained weight. I like how he said, all new chassis S650. It ain't. If it was an all new chassis, then 99% of S550 parts, chassis parts, suspension parts, brake parts would not fit on it, which it does. It made it real easy for parts houses and aftermarket companies to be like, oh yeah, well, so this part works for both generations. We don't have to redesign something new for this new generation. It's just, it's all the same. what we got going on here? Here's sales numbers. This guy shows the sales numbers of the Mustang for every year it came out, but we're going to focus on the last 20 years or so. That's where it's really important here. Check these out.
So the numbers started to taper off there. Got a little bit of a popularity when the S550 came out in 2015. Sold 122,000 units. One of the
122,000 cars in 2015. That is crazy.
best years in a decade for Ford. But ever since then, it's been all downhill.
Look at that. Ever since then, all downhill. 2016 was just 105. 2017, 81. 2018 came out with the refreshed 10-speed. 75, 72. I mean, down and down and down. We go to 2022 as 47. And then 2023 had a little bit of an uptick, 53,000. And then 2024, we're back down to 47,000. That is nuts. And you got to think, look at these sales numbers. I mean, for the longest time, Ford has always, prided themselves that the Mustang was the America's best selling sports car, whatever, because they had the America's best selling truck, F-150. Well, it wasn't always that way. Here in just a few short years ago, the Mustang was dethroned by the Challenger. It's another video I happened to make during that time. Check this out. So for the second quarter of this year, the Challenger racked up 14,558 unit sales. That was good enough for top spot. Still a 3.28 decrease in sales versus last year, which was a total of 15,052 units in quarter two of last year. The Mustang for quarter two of 2022 only sold 12,258 units. Oh my goodness. This was back in, what did I make this video? 2022. So this was going for 2022 model year. Dodge sold, 3,000, 2,000 and change more vehicles, Challengers, than Ford did the Mustang. If we go back to our last video here and you look, 2022, that was that was what current sales are in 2022, 47,000 units, 47,000 and change. And Dodge in 2021 sold even more than they did. People just stopped buying the Mustang. Like, why? And this is what I don't understand, because I like the S550 Mustang. It's been one of my favorite, although not without its problems. You take the problems away and you just focus on the car and the experience that it gives you. It's been my personally most favorite modern Mustang. I mean, I would take an S550 Mustang 9 times out of 10 over an S197. I think it's just an excellent car for the most part. It depends what you're trying to do, I guess. But just for something that's supposed to be on, everyday roads, and you want something that's powerful and it looks good, and, you can mod the hell out of it and back, S550. Man, it is crazy that no one's buying them. Unbelievable. So, going back to what's faster, S550, S650. Well, I don't know. Let's check this video out. S650 Mustang GT versus bolt-on S550. Stock versus bolt-on. All right, S650 is back here. Camera Karz S550, if you didn't pick up on that. Now that S650 is pulling on this bolt-on S550. I mean, it's got another 200 horsepower. So I don't know. I call a little BS on this. That's no way that car's pulling that hard. So either the camera car's got a problem. Obviously, he's got a passenger. So unless his passenger is 500 pounds, which, who knows, or what, something ain't right. They should be a little bit more evenly matched than that. What does comments gotta say? I'm confused. In some videos, S550 is faster, and others is S650. S650 is faster. A lot of people say it ain't, but I raced the 2018 GT and gapped him bad. Oh, aren't you so cute? I raced S650 and that launched, didn't help, and I smoked him. I'm assuming with an S550. Oh my goodness. Oh, these people are nuts. Oh my God. Blah, 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 blah. My car's faster than yours. I spent this out of money. It better be faster. Yeah, it better be. But here's a 2023 Mustang GT 0 to 60 versus 2024 Mustang GT 0 to 60. Okay, they're in the S550. 4.4 to 60 stock. 4.1 for a S650 stock. You know what? You know what I just noticed? Listen to how the S650 sounds. I mean, that sounds turned up, man. And it's almost, look where it shifts. Look at the shift point. It shifts, first gear shift past like 7,700 RPM, where the S550 looks like it short shifts really early. Yeah, short shifts at like 5,900 or something. And that's just the difference on calibration. Tuned S550 Mustangs will shift just as high, and I think that's the secret sauce right there. So it's like the S650 is almost like it has the same aftermarket tune from the factory that you would get on an S550, at least when it comes to transmission tuning. And I've heard that, you know, transmission tuning is a big deal on the 10-speed cars, and I had one, so I know the difference between stock calibration and when you change some stuff, especially the shift points. And that is crucial for the Coyote because it makes its power more up top. You need to keep it up there. You don't want to short shift it necessarily, but especially if you change some things like the intake manifold and put an intake on, it's going to shift your power band. You're going to get more usable power up top, so you don't want to short shift. So I bet you if you did nothing else but tune to S550 in this particular case to shift at a higher RPM at 7,000 plus, like an aftermarket tune, it would be just as fast, or at least within 1/10 of the S650. So I think they're pretty comparable. You know what I'm saying? Performance-wise to each other, I think they're pretty comparable. So, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, that's the thing. Like, if they're so close in performance, there's really nothing else about it that it makes you want to spend the money. Oh, because it's a lot more money. Or so it seems, at least, right? So let's take a look at this. 2023 Ford Mustang GT Fastback had an MSRP. And this is starting out $38,345. This is just a base GT, right? So what about a base 2024? Starting at $41,495. Like, okay, well, just year over year, I mean, that's just the price of the vehicle. That's not counting other things that actually has gotten more expensive. But that's just for the vehicle. That sucks. Well, what about 2015 when the S550 first came out? How much was it then? In 2015, the Mustang GT had a starting MSRP of $32,000 for the coupe, $36,000 for the premium coupe. Okay, but we're, you know, base apples is apples as best we can, base Mustang, so $32,300. But then you're like, oh, but when you adjust for inflation, all right, well, let's adjust for inflation. Let's see what happens. You adjust for inflation, and that money ends up being, okay, $42,748. So realistically, the price hasn't really changed. It's gotten more expensive because of inflation, according to this information. So why isn't the S650 selling? Let's continue.
The moment I bought the car and drove it for the first time, it literally broke.
What the heck? Are you serious? Check engine light. Okay, now it's gone. Do I need to throw a scanner on this thing? It's brand new out of the box, bro. doesn't feel very fast.
That's because it's a Mustang. I kid. No, so yeah, I mean, that's no surprise. Brand new, it's got problems. Oh my goodness. It gets interesting. You go into the comments and someone said something interesting right here. Ford technician here just had one of these in the shop and had to replace all 4 variable cam timing phasers, causing the misfires, and both timing tensioners were shot. The car had 500 miles. And, you know, that's what this dude was having. I mean, TJ Hunt, he's been around. You know, he's a big time YouTuber. They scanned the car. There was misfires on cylinders 3 and 4, I think, or 2 and 4, something like that. Evidently, according to this comment down here, this Ford technician, all 4 cam phasers, right from the start, are crap. These are having engine problems already. Oh my goodness. Okay. Are they having any other problems? 2024 Ford Mustang GT screen not working.
Don't you guys just love it when you get out of the gym and, you know, can't use your radio? Can't use your screen?
See,
That's nice. Love it.
that's exactly like the biggest reason I would never buy a 2024. In fact, I mean, I know my current car has a screen like that, and I don't like it. I think it's a useless use of technology. Like, it doesn't belong there, right? Having these overly complicated infotainment systems is really ruining the car. They're overly distractive. They're becoming way too complicated and they're cumbersome. A lot of them are just, there's too much going on. It doesn't belong in a car. You know what I'm saying? And this right here is a prime example of why I wouldn't want this, because there's going to be more of these problems. I mean, there's just problems like this with normal infotainment systems, but these are all these big screens. They're all integrated into the dashes now. It's not like they're in their own little, you know, spot like an S650. You just had, you know, you take the front bezel off, you have a couple screws here and there, and you can pop the whole dang thing out. These are fully integrated into, you know, it probably requires the whole dash to be disassembled to replace these pieces. Or who knows, they might sell the whole thing as a dash assembly for $4,000. Who, you know, like, these are the problems no one wants when they're paying all this money for cars. So right out the gate, having engine troubles, having electrical problems. I know people have complained about, you know, the typical panel gap issues that Mustangs have suffered for a long time with. I mean, it's just one thing after another, And no one wants it. You don't want the problems. It's not offering anything more that you really want over the last generation Mustang. Performance-wise, there isn't that big of enough difference because 9 times out of 10, someone's going to modify it. Like, no one's buying a Mustang GT to leave it alone. You know, like, it's just one of those cars where it is destined, like, it is designed to be modified. And because you can't do nothing, I mean, you can modify an S650, you can put parts on it, it will gain a little bit here and there. You're still overall limited, especially if you stay NA, you're limited to how much power you can make because the car is not tunable. You know, you can't tune it. If you do want more power, yeah, you can pay was it $9,000 or $10,000, whatever it is, for these Ford approved Whipple supercharger kits, and I think Roush has one out now. But you have to get it tuned through them, and if that's what you want, then it's fine. You can still have a 700-800 horsepower Mustang, you know. But if you don't want that, or if you want turbos, or you know, you are stuck doing what they're allowing you to do, which brings me to the last bit of this video.
People are out there building their dark horse, and the final price is the same price as a ZL1, a supercharged Camaro, if I'm not mistaken. I can go to sleep at night knowing that I didn't pay $60,000+ for a car that makes less horsepower than GT350s of previous generations, are not tunable, are an S550 with a reshaped nose and butt, same IRS, and a 3160 transmission, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so what he's saying, like the Dark Horse is Mac Daddy, top of the line. Like you really want to get after it with a Mustang in 2024, that's the one you go for. When you it's all said and done, you are six figures into a vehicle that performs no different than something that was $30,000 cheaper when it first came out. Like GT350, even though it isn't the godfather of reliability, because of its unique engine, it creates it has an allure to it. Something special about that. That car, it's still special. It's still highly sought after. Everyone wants a GT350. And then you got like the holy grail pinnacle god tier GT350R. Like still so many people would choose a GT350 over a GT500 just because the driving experience is completely different. And the engine itself has all the same performance potential as any of the other while still retaining the uniqueness of that voodoo engine with the flat plane crank. The deal. Like it's tough. The S650 is a tough pill to swallow, even with no Challenger, no Charger, no Camaro. People ain't buying it. Isn't that the craziest part? People are not buying it, even though the holy trinity of American muscle cars is gone. And that's done and over with, at least for now. Who knows if it'll ever come back? It's like no one really cares about American cars anymore if they're looking for performance. BMW is just, BMW is having record sales right now with their cars, M3, the M4s. There's a good reason for that. Tuned M3s are running 10s, high 9s. You have a back seat. It looks good. Is it expensive? Of course. But if you're talking about modifying a Dark Horse, for that kind of power, or modifying an M3, it's probably built better, honestly. I hate to say it, BMW in 2024 is probably more reliable. No, it is more reliable than Ford. So people who are looking to spend that kind of money on performance, they don't care where what the performance comes in, like what the package of the performance is. They're just looking for performance. They're going to BMW, like they're killing it right now. For the people who don't have the money for the Mustangs or don't want to spend the money for the Mustangs and they don't want a used S550, their money is going to Toyota, or their money is going to some of these other cheaper alternative Japanese sports cars, or like Hyundai with the Elantra N. You got the Corolla GR, you got the Honda Civic Type R, you got the Supra, which is really a good deal because it's got the same B58 that everyone's paying an arm and a leg for in the M3s, but it's cheaper. So really, the Supra really is a good value for performance potential price. And that's where people are spending their money. The people who bought the S650 Mustang were either diehard loyal Ford fans, or the people who have to have it, gotta have it because it's brand new type things. Once that wore off, once the initial, this is not new anymore, wore off, now everyone's changing their tune on the S650. And now it just doesn't seem like it's a great car. It seems to be, kind of what we don't want to see. And I wouldn't be surprised if, the next 5 years, we still see continuing decline in Mustang sales. It'll go back 47, it'll go to 40,000 and 30,000, 25,000, and then 5-6 years from now, 10,000 units. And then Ford says, we're done. No more Mustang. And that will be it. So Oh, that will be a tough day for all of us, especially me. Like I said, had 4 Mustangs. It's like one of my favorite cars of all time. I hate to see that day come, but I think it's coming. Unless someone gets in charge of Ford right now and starts making some big changes, I think it's coming. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Put your thoughts in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up here for the video. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like, subscribe, share with everyone you know, and keep a lookout for the next Cars Talks video.